Hey guys, this is Gord Leary here. I just want to do a brief tutorial today on how to play string bends on the electric guitar. So we're going to start off with the string bend. We're going to be on the 6th fret on string 3. 1, 2, 3, string 3. And I'm playing this with my third finger. 1, 2, 3, third finger. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have fingers 1 and 2 on the same string as my third finger. So all 3 fingers are roughly between the 5th and 6th frets. Okay, but I'm only basically playing the 6th fret. Now what I'm going to do first was I'm going to do a full string bend on the 6th fret. Full string bend sounds like this. Okay, so a couple of things going on there. If I'm on the 6th fret and I'm doing a full string bend, it means you want to push the note up kind of towards the roof, towards the ceiling, and you want to push it up so it sounds the same as 2 frets higher. So if I'm on the 6th fret, the full bend should sound the same as the 8th fret. 6, 7, 8, 2 plus 2 frets. Okay, so there's 6, and it sounds the same as the 8th fret once I'm pushing up. So you got 3 fingers, fingers 1, 2, 3, pushing up like that. The thumb is slightly up over the top of the guitar there. If you're playing classical guitar, guys, the thumb will be down much lower, kind of behind the neck of the guitar, which will give you kind of like a wider stretch. But when you're doing string bends, you want the thumb up over the top of the guitar, just a bit like that. And the idea is that kind of helps you kind of sort of clamp the guitar in that sort of type of position like that. Okay. It is possible to do the string bends without the kind of clamp, without the thumb over the top, but it's a lot more difficult. It takes a lot more effort. So that's my recommendation: have the thumb up over the top like that. Okay. So when you're practicing these, the best thing to do is play the 8th fret before you start the bend. Get that note in your head, or even kind of hum it, and then play the 6th fret and try and get that 6th fret bench note so it sounds the same as the 8th fret. Okay. Right, moving on to our next bend. Next bend is a half bend. With a half bend, again, I'm going to demonstrate it on the 6th fret. I got my other 2 fingers on the same string, just immediately behind on the 5th fret. And with a half bend, we're only bending it up 1 fret. So if I'm on 6, the bent note should sound the same as the 7th fret. There's the 6, there's the 7, so you can hear how when I bend that up, it sounds the same as 7 once you reach the peak of the bend. Okay. When people talk about a full bend, what they're really talking about is what's called a tone. A full tone is 2 frets. That's why the 6 should sound the same as the 8th fret. And when they talk about half bend, it's basically half a tone, or what's known as a semitone. A semitone essentially is 1 fret. Okay, so tone is 2 frets, full tone 2 frets, and then a half tone or semitone is up 1 fret. Okay, so there's my full bend or tone up 2 frets. 6 sounds the same as 8, and then half bend or half tone or semitone is up 1 fret. Okay, so full is up 2, half up 1. The other thing, guys, which is great about using the other 2 fingers here for support is that when you kind of bend the note up and you release it, these 2 fingers here can help kind of mute the 4th string. Okay, see the way these 2 fingers are hitting the 4th string. If you didn't have that, the bend might be okay, but when you go to release it, you get that 4th string ringing out. It sounds dreadful. Okay, so by having the fingers here muting it, it just kind of cleans it up nicely. Okay, so it's our full bend, and release it back if you like, and then a half bend. Okay. Next bend we have is a quarter bend. So quarter bend, as the name implies, it's it's not even going to be 6 to 7. It's too far to half bend. So it's kind of between the 6th and 7th fret. So I really just describe it as kind of nearly pushing or pulling the string ever so slightly. You can bend it up, or a lot of times it's even more accurate just to kind of pull it down towards the floor. And because it's such a small bend, you don't need that much strength to do that. A lot of times you can even do that with the first finger. You hear that a lot of blues players use that. Okay, so that's your quarter bend. When you're learning bends, guys, it is easier to use the 3rd finger because you're going to have the other 2 fingers there for support. But you can bend with the 2nd finger and just have the 1st finger there for support. Okay, and when your fingers get really strong, it is possible to do all these bends with one finger, but it is really quite tricky to do it. And if you look at the tip of my finger, it's kind of, you know, it's going to nearly shred the tips of your fingers. So I'd recommend, do everything with the third finger. Have the other fingers there for support. The quarter bend, that's easy, so you can do that with the first finger, so it's grand. Okay, I want to do one more type of bend, and this is what's called the pre-bend. Now the pre-bend is different to the other ones. All the other bends you've done, you hear the original note, and then you start bending up to some other note, full or half or whatever. With the pre-bend, what happens is you're on the original note, but you don't pick it until the fingers are actually having the bend in place already. So if I'm doing a full pre-bend, the 6th fret obviously should sound the same as the 8th fret. You get your fingers in position, 3 fingers there, and kind of start bending the note up. You don't hear anything yet, and then when you think it either looks or feels right, then you want to kind of pick the note. And it should sound the same as the 8th fret. Okay, it's a little bit trickier to do to get it in tune, because as I say, you're really just going by the feel and the look of it. You don't have that kind of sound that you can hear. You listen to the sound with the normal bends, there's the original note, you're bending up so you can hear what it sounds like. With these, you got nothing to go on really. So it just takes a bit more experience to get those in tune. Okay, so again, 6th fret, start bending the note, and then when you think it looks or sounds the same as the 8, pick it, and then gently keep pressing hard, and then release it. And again, keep the other 2 fingers touching the string above it, the 4th string. Okay, so 6, pre-bend up to 8, release it, and keep the other fingers nicely muting. Okay, there's a nice kind of bluesy, nearly wailing type of sound about it, which is really nice. Okay, the last bend is a half pre-bend. So it's exactly the same idea, but this time we're only kind of sort of pre-bending up to the 7th fret. Okay, so I'm on 6, half bend is up to the 7th. So I'm on the 6, okay, don't pick anything yet. Pre-bend it, and when you think it looks and feels the same as the 7, then pick, and then release. Okay, again you could check those, so pre-bend it up to 7, and then check the 7. Okay, pre-bend, and then release. Okay. With all these bends, guys, as well, you can kind of play them fast or slow. If you play them slow, they have that lovely kind of bluesy. Okay, that lovely bluesy type of tone to them. If you want a slightly more aggressive, more rock type of idea, you could do it faster. Okay, exactly the same technique, just one's kind of slow, one's getting to the peak of the bend just that bit faster, just more aggressive. Alright guys, that's it for this string bending tutorial. Hope you've enjoyed it. Take care. Bye bye.